Growing up, my grandfather was known in his neighborhood as the boy conceived during the fire bombings, while Nagoya, then the chief manufacturing town for Japanese military planes, burned to the ground my great-grandparents out of a sense of urgency or boredom or a supremely twisted sense of humor fumbled in the dark damp of their hand-dug, half-mud shelter. Air raid sirens still wailing its sad, broken lullaby, smoke snaking itself a fish scale film between skin and skin. I imagine the way they must have reached for each other, thinking this was how it ought to end, you and me and the world collapsing like a crimson curtain in the wake of a war we could have no way of understanding. Have you ever kissed someone under a firework? Wasn't there a part of you then that felt that airborne tinder bug was actually the way your lungs exploded with the taste of them each time our lips crushed together under night sky blazing with icicle implosion of B-52 fire bombs so bright you would never have known it should have been the deep velvet of a January night? Have you ever tasted the aching scorch of an August wind? The way it fills your mouth with its charred walls full of unsaid words and swallowed sighs, then the intersect of our bones, mandala of sweat, scattered like tiny marbles diagonally across your neck. I couldn't tell you if it was the stifling maw of heat. The world turned charcoal as we lay there, the months of becoming a ration-haunted skeleton that made your mouth so hungry, moving across my collar, the knob of my hip, an angry ash wind as if you couldn't notice the bitter grime of hopelessness webbed like fine lace across my frame. Have you ever planned an escape route? Noticed where the exits are in a movie theater? Have you ever counted possessions as precious only if you could fit their softness in the crook of your arm when the fire rolled its dull roar across our feet? Flooding our bedroom, you dropped the deed to the house, your parents' wood carvings, the silver filigree dish, and lunged for my hand. This was no right-wing romance. This was survival at its rawest, a reminder we are not but worms, writhing in the night-soaked earth, scraping muddied moans from the dampening dust. Whether it was in love or lust, for each other, or for our bodies, or for our blood. Afterwards, my great-grandfather would remember that she cried. Black rain after metal maelstrom could feel the salt grating between his coarse gardener fingertips, a roughness he would pass on to his new son months later. White flag would be raised up in front of the imperial palace lone crane against bloodied setting of her too proud son, and my great-grandfather would be reminded of her tears again, the quiet swan song of them falling across her concave cheek, and finally